Hey guys, after being married for 15 years and being with my wife for 25 years officially, uh, there's obviously some things that you get to learn and grow through. And I want to share with you today on how to effectively argue with your wife or your partner. Looking forward to sharing this. I'm Dr. Steve. Let's get connected. Okay, so we've all been there. We've all had the interactions that are mildly or grossly uncomfortable, and frankly, arguing can be a huge challenge in relationships. It's what sets people off. So what I want to first just describe for you right now is just about a little bit about your nervous system and about your brain and what parts you're actually using as you argue, and then I'll break down for you a few key points that could assist you in actually getting out of an argument and not having it prolong for so long. So we're going to teach you some cool stuff on that. So first of all, I want to just mention is that when you're actually arguing with someone, you're not using the most evolutionary part of the brain. You're not using the frontal lobe of the brain. Arguing that is driving emotions stems from the hindbrain, stems from our survival portions of the brain. Some scientists call it our reptilian portion of the brain. So you're not using your greatest level of resources when you're actually engaged in an argument. So do we want to have a reptilian conversation? And we know what it's like when we're arguing. It's a back and forth bantering between each other, but ultimately it's almost like one person is just defending their own position, the other person's in front of you defending their position, and in your own head you're just talking to yourself, trying to defend your position, and they're doing the same thing. They're talking across from you and they're trying to defend their own position. So you have two people that are interacting, defending their own positions. They're in their own heads, they're in their own emotional states, and they're actually not connected at all. And so it serves no good to, or at least should I say, it doesn't serve any progress if you actually want to make progress on the argument. It doesn't make any progress if you're just bantering back and forth from each other. And I was brought up, especially my mom had mentioned about, a good argument is good. It's good to get things out. It's good to have the argument occasionally. And I would say, okay, well, the argument is fine. I mean, two people can just dissipate some energy. That's no problem. But ultimately, nothing really gets solved. So how do we actually move from a state of the arguing and the bantering and actually move to some levels of progress? So the first, from a guy's perspective, is we just need to be quiet for a moment. Because if we have an opportunity to be quiet, then we can let them just continue to kind of diffuse and run the story out, and they can express themselves however they want. And that's the first position as a guy, is you just be quiet. Don't say anything back. Don't banter back and forth, because again, all you're doing is just trying to defend your position, and they're defending their position, and there's no progress that's going to be made on that. But if we want to make progress, someone first has to stop and be quiet. So let's take ownership and responsibility just to stop and be quiet for a second. The second step is not to compete. So we don't need to compete. This isn't a winning game. This isn't, I'm gonna force you to see my perspective or to see my ideas. We stop, we be quiet, we let them do their thing, and we don't compete. And when you're not competing with each other, there's an element where you actually have to hold your energy in a little bit, and you have to refrain and discipline yourself from trying to project your ideas and your energy and your emotions outwards, where you have to harness it and create this inner resilience inside to hold your ideas, hold your energy within the confines of your body and mind. You have to hold that in. While they're arguing, you hold that in and you just hang in there and let it stew a little bit, but just hold that position for a moment and don't try to project anything outwards. The third thing that we do is then you hold a position, a heart space position. And what I mean by this is that you actually begin to look at them and you actually love them for who they're being in the moment. If they're the wild and flailing female, then just let them do that. Let them have their say while you hold this heart-opening space for them to be exactly who they need. And when they get an opportunity to be exactly who they need, without you trying to make them any different, they're going to feel the love from you. They're going to feel that you're okay with them being whoever they need to be in that moment. And to me, that is a stoic way to position and posture yourself as the guy in the relationship, is to be able to hold that space, that loving heart space, almost like the lion's heart, to be able to hold that and allow them to do their thing as they go through the process of their own healing and their own processes. So those are 3 things. So one is be quiet. The second is don't compete for the win. And the third is you stand stoic with an open heart. And if you can do that for long enough, they'll start to resonate and they'll start to change their state if you love them for exactly who they are. There's an old saying, love them for who they are and they turn into who you want to love. And that would be the idea, is you hold that space long enough as a guy to give them the room without any boundaries being put on them. Give them the room to just do their thing, and you stand stoically in a heart-centered space and let them sort through it. And I assure you, if you do that and you stay poised and you stay loving and open-hearted, their system will soften, their heart will open, you'll reconnect on a different level, and your resolution from whatever issue is going on, you'll recognize that it was most likely petty in the first place, that it was not worth the time and attention that it would have taken. Most arguments are smaller in nature that just fizzle for too long. And so if you just hold this position, I assure you that your woman will diffuse her energy, she'll fall back into softness, she'll fall into her loving heart. You're already there, you hold the space for that, and the two of you will connect, and it'll be easy and effortless to resolve the challenge. So I encourage you to go for that and give that a shot. Let me know how it is. Click subscribe to join our channel. Love to share more information with you, and good luck with that.